DroneTalks is an online platform to spread ideas and to educate in the drone ecosystem. At DroneTalks, we discuss technology, regulatory, business, and ecosystem topics openly with industry leaders to enable and foster innovation for a better future.
Hi everyone, I'm Esther Kovac, CEO and founder of DroneTalks, and today I talk with Louise Jupp, who is a founder of Terreco Aviation and also published and edited a few drones-related books. Hi, Louise.
Hello, Esther. Pleased to meet you.
Nice to see you. So my first question is that why drones? How you became a CEO of a drone company. If you can share, the journey, that would be great.
Sure. Yes. I think it started around about 2015. I became aware of drones and just in the media. And my background is environmental science. And so I initially thought of their value for the kind of work that I was doing at the time. But then, really, the thing that got me is I do like technology, and I'm inspired by gadgets, if you want to call it that, right at the beginning. And I do have a bit of a history with sort of aviation, and so it kind of just grabbed my interest. But from the perspective, excuse me. From an environmental perspective, I just saw this as an interesting tool that you get eyes from above looking down on what's going on, and you can start to use that to a greater benefit of environmental management, environmental monitoring. But then I've got friends here who are farmers, and at the same time that there was more and more information coming about the application of drones in farming, I started to see a really nice relationship. Often with environmental issues, you've really got to try and encourage someone to get involved. They want to do it. And because often when you're trying to get environmental goals, they're not necessarily going with what that person wants to do. If you want energy, you want to put out as much energy as you want. And if there's going to be an environmental thing, well, sorry, but we need energy. And, farmers want to increase their yields. And I just saw that with drones, you can use the information that they can gather to help them increase their yields. But at the same time, as they're increasing, they can increase their yields with more efficiency. There's an inherent environmental benefit, and that just for me was the light bulb moment, because you don't have to fight anymore. There's no compromise. You're not saying, well, you've got to be environmentally friendly, and I'm sorry for you, it's not going to work for your targets. Now you can say, we can help you get what it is that you need, and there's this nice environmental benefit that doesn't compromise that goal and need, and that for me is just. And there are many other uses of drones in a conservation environmental perspective. And that's what got my attention. And I just knew, got to get involved in this, got to do something with this. And that's, I think in a nutshell, where I'm coming from.
I really love this perspective, because most of the folks I talk to, they are initially from the aviation industry, and for them, drones like an excited innovation. But they kind of think with an aviation mindset, and I should say that drones are definitely clearly been a catalyst for challenging this normal forms or normal ways what we would use in different sectors. But I'm just thinking, based on my experience, we lost a lot of time developing technologies, but we don't really prioritize the needs of the users. So what do you think? Is that true in the drone industry as well, or how do you see it? If we talk about farmers, or agriculture, when you are expert.
Yeah, it is very, you see it in the advertising and you see it in the discussions. Often the focus is on the drone or the data, sometimes the data and sometimes the software tools. And it's forgetting, well, what does the farmer want? If you research some of this, it's amazing how often the topic comes up that farmers are becoming more and more overloaded with information. Where do I start? What do I, and drones are adding to this to a certain degree. Potentially provide, there's enormous amounts of information that you can get from the data that's collected. And how do you convert that into something that a farmer can go, yeah, that's what I got to do today. This is where I need to go. This is how I do it. And I think sometimes it's easier to say, hey, look, we got this really cool drone and it can capture all these millions of images really quickly. And that's focusing on the wrong thing. What does the farmer want? When do they want it? How do they want it? And I think it's so easy to get caught up with the technology. I mean, I do as well. You can't go, oh, wow, that looks really cool. It looks really interesting. But you've got to step back every so often and say, well, this is a great tool, but how am I going to, who needs that? Who needs the value of that tool? And what is that value you're giving? You don't want to just give them the spanner, show them what the spanner does and how it can help them. So, yeah, I think it is very easy to focus on the technology without focusing on the benefits that it provides and the context of those benefits.
Yeah, and I love the fact when you talk about that, kind of educate the user. How is it going to make you a better product, and how is it going to raise your productivity level, right? So it's not enough, hey, use drones because they are cool, but, kind of give the knowledge to the people as well. So I really love that spot. And the other hot topic, which we love talking about here at DroneTalks, the percentage of women in the drone industry. I mean, we should admit it's really small, and, we should hunt down basically women to talk to at DroneTalks. So even for us as a media platform, it's really challenging to find women in the industry with clear purpose. And I was just wondering if we want to see more girls and women in the industry. What should we do, especially in Africa? You are located in Africa. And of course, we want to see more women, but why? Why should this be important for everyone? Men, women, cities, regulators, ministers? So what's your message?
Yeah, there's a lot to say, but really, I think, well, why not? It's been proven time and time again, diversity in business, in organizations is way better. If you've got that diverse thinking, that diverse attitude, solving problems, you've got a different way, and everything tends to get a bit, you tend to get a better result or a better solution or a better product, however you want to describe it. So I think, first of all, why not? And I mean, just purely from my own perspective, there is so much that you can get from this. There is such a reward from sometimes the smallest of uses. And it is also fun. And, get more people to be aware of that, and to actually have that, to be able to make the choice. And for me, what it is we need to raise awareness, because aviation traditionally is not thought of by women in general, or girls, should I say. In fact, girls and women as well. This is an industry for me. I mean, it's been, I'm saying this on the basis of reports. I've just researched this, in fact. And, if you can't see what you can be in the industry, then you're not going to look at it. So there has to be more awareness, and it's got to start at an earlier stage. And I found a lovely quote: girls cannot be what they cannot see. So we've got to get into classrooms and sort of say, hey, look, these are the things that you can do with drones. And of course, with drone technology and the drone industry, it is more than just being a pilot. There is it's how you use the technology as well, in terms of the data. So, I mean, there's a huge message to get out there that drones are more than what you're seeing in media. And unfortunately, it's still toys. It's still, you can walk down the street and there's a shop selling a small drone, and then you go to another place and there's another shop selling a small drone. It's hard to get past. For you and I, we see the value. We're in it all the time, but it's amazing how many people are still not aware of drones being out there. And I say drones, I mean the technology, the drone system, and the value of it as a management tool, as a business tool, as a delivery service. So, I would kind of say we need to do this because diversity is important. From an African perspective, I've been talking to women in the African drone industry, and it's really interesting. There is a drive to make sure that the benefits that are coming from the application of drones, whether it's in medical, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in disaster management, disease management, they are seeing this benefit and they want it to benefit their communities. So there's this very strong protecting, raising the community sort of element that I see and when I'm talking to these women, and it's really it really stands out. And here, from my perspective, looking at drones in agriculture, you're looking at the majority, 80% of food production in Africa is coming from smallholding, and a lot of those are managed by women. So if we can get this drone technology information and value in agriculture needs to be available to all farmers, in my opinion. I don't necessarily mean that everybody has a drone in their hand, but they need to know the benefits and get access to this information. And to me, because women play such a role in food production and traditional medicines and looking after their resources, then we've got to get this, and we've got to raise awareness of the value, even if it's just to benefit from the industry rather than getting into it. We have to raise that value, and that's how I feel.
You speak from my heart, Louise, here, and I couldn't agree more. I think there is a lot to say here, but I think generally it's our responsibility, women leaders in the industry as well, not just raise awareness, but as you mentioned, go to schools, educate, and also make sure, even if they don't use now the technology, they are aware of it, as you mentioned. So I couldn't agree more. And you also talked about public acceptance of the drone services, and currently, one of the biggest barrier is regulation. We all know that. But the second barrier, in my view, is that this public, perception of drones. So I was just wondering, how can the industry change this perception? What can we do as startups or medium, small companies, or even multinational big companies like Wing or Amazon? What can we do on a daily basis to change this?
I think in many ways, again, it comes down to communication. And I think that's one of that for me is a core thing that goes across many of the issues that we're dealing with in the drone industry. And I think communication is absolutely critical. And we are, in many ways, we're ambassadors. We're at the pioneering front of this industry at this time. And I think we need to play a role in engaging with, creating hubs or opportunities to share this knowledge. I don't think we should always be talking about the industry for our own personal commercial gain. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes stop selling the technology and sell the benefit. Sell the this is what we're doing. And I mean, there are companies out there that are organizing. And I think it's interesting. For me, the one thing I really enjoy is there are so many similarities with manned aviation, even in the history of manned aviation. And I found a fantastic quote again, we're dealing with a situation, I said it just now, that drones are still perceived as toys because you see them as toys in the street. And there was this great quotation from around about the 1920s. And someone was effectively saying, well, this is an exciting machine, but it's somewhat useless. It's a useless toy that could only be used for leisure and sport. And that was said about aircraft, 100 years ago. And we've got exactly the same attitude today for drones. And, we're going through the pace a lot faster than manned aviation, of course. But the point being is we've got to get this message out there that these are not toys. This is the commercial value. This is how it's changing society, whether it's delivering medicines, which doesn't have to be just in Africa. I was talking to someone a couple of last year. And you're saying, there are places within Europe where you need to, that are relatively isolated. This is not just something for, for developing countries and what have you. This is something that's needed everywhere. And we're starting to see those programs. So, sorry, I've got so much to say. I'm going around. But what I'm trying to say is we've got to communicate this, get this message out. And equally, I feel that we also need to we've got to promote the professionalism. We need to promote the ethics that are out there, because, unfortunately, the way in which drones have been used is they're causing a nuisance in the general public. People are getting fed up with somebody next door flying the drone over their property. People don't trust. Well, what are you doing with that footage? Are you taking footage? There isn't a code of ethics out there or a code of professionalism, because anybody, that's the thing, is there are so many multiple uses, drone racing, having fun, commercial applications, to name a few. nobody can tell who's flying that drone to know that that's either a commercial person or someone who shouldn't be flying the drone. Do you know what I mean? So there's multiple levels of communication that need to come out of the industry, which is focusing on the professionalism and the awareness. There's got to be, I think, in some ways, communication with maybe some of the so-called protagonists, if you want to say that, whether it is hobbyists. Let's engage with the hobbyists and let's, say, well, this, we're in this together. We want a safe, responsible environment. Equally, it's dealing with the authorities that are trying to manage this new factor of aviation, and I feel sorry for them. I mean, it's evolving so fast. How do you control it? How do you enforce it? So I just feel that we in the industry have got a lot to do to promote the benefits, to work with the various factors that are creating roadblocks, whether it's communities, whether it's the authorities, whether it's the policing organizations, those kind of things. We've got to talk and get this message across that there are different elements of the drone industry, and this is what they do, and this is how they affect you positively or negatively.
I would like to also mention that we should communicate, but we should also communicate to the right audience. So when we kickstarted DroneTalks, I felt all the portals educate and inform and communicate to the drone industry, but we already know drones are great. We already know the benefits.
Exactly.
So we're going in a loop, we talk to the drone industry, from the drone industry, the message goes there. So I think that's what we try to do now with DroneTalks, break out, talk to cities, governments, communities as well. They need to be engaged with the industry, work together, and raise awareness about this great technology. So thanks, Louise, for the interview. It was really, really great. We loved it, I think. I should say that. And thanks for being here with us.
Okay, thank you very much. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.